Hey guys, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we have another list video. We've got some more, we've got another list of knives with the same blade shape. I haven't done one of these in a while, but you know what? I decided that there was a blade shape I was missing. We've done drop points. We've done tontos. We've done buoys. We've done straight clip points. We've done Warncliffe sheep's foot stuff. What have we not done? Spear points, as you may have deduced if you read the title of this video. So, there's a lot of, I guess, there's a couple of ways you could look at a spear point blade. One is the edge and the spine do the same thing towards the tip, and it gives you the classic spear shape. And the other way to think about it is, at least in my opinion, feel free to fight with me in the comments, if the tip or the point is directly in line with the pivot. For example, I thought that maybe perhaps the Civivi Baby Banter was a spear point because, I don't know, it kind of looks like that. I mean, it kind of does the same thing on the top and bottom. But then I got my ruler, line up at the center of the pivot, and we can see that the tip is dropped. So, drop point. If you want to argue that that's not valid, go ahead. This is my channel. We categorize things the way I want. But we've got 10 knives today. I know, the last couple of times we've done this list, it's only been 5. We've got 10 today. And we've got some that are pretty standard spear points. And then we're going to get into a little bit of some weird categories. You guys ready? I am. Let's rock and roll. So, the first knife we're going to bring out is one that most people are familiar with. The Civivi Elementum. Yeah, this is definitely a spear point. Although, if you call it a drop point, I wouldn't argue with you. When does a spear point become a drop point and vice versa? I don't know. Like most things in this community, we could argue on. And honestly, there's probably not one definitive right answer. And it honestly probably doesn't matter. But you know what? We have so much fun getting into the weeds on terminology and stuff that videos like this are always fun to make, right? But yeah, Civivi Elementum. This knife needs no introduction. Everyone knows this knife. Everyone loves this knife. Even me, who's not the biggest Civivi fan, I like this knife. I think it's a good EDC knife. And there's actually a surprising amount of Civivis on this list. But yeah, just a great all-around user. The spear point, oh, this hollow grind. Oh, remember when Civivi did hollow grinds? Anyways, one of the things you get from a spear point is excellent piercing capabilities. And with this knife, you still got plenty of room for your slicing. You can get to the tip for utility cuts. You can do your puncturing tasks. Yeah, spear point's kind of a do-it-all blade shape, and yeah, it's sometimes a little bit underrated. Most people just lump them in with drop points, including myself. Maybe with this video, I'll inspire some more love for spear points. I know Cold Steel is one of the only companies that makes knives that they actually say this is a spear point. They've got the Spear Point Recon 1, the Spear Point Code 4. Ironically, I don't own any Cold Steel I don't own any Cold Steel Spear Point knives. I mean, they obviously also make spears, so those are like actual spear points. But yeah, big Cold Steel guy, but just don't have any of their spear point knives. Anyways, moving on to our next knife. This knife is the review has either just come out by the time you're seeing this, or it is about to come out. The Kaiser Cozy. In a lot of ways, this feels like a bigger Elementum. And yeah, it's just everything I said about the Elementum kind of applies to this knife. Great EDC, profile, size, ergonomics. You have an excellent blade for your slicing. You can do your utility cuts. You can do your piercing. Just great user blade. Excellent jimping. Love that Kaiser's doing real jimping. Fantastic action. I mean, gosh. Kaiser's killing it with actions. Yeah, great knife. Simple, but it's clean, it's useful, it's well done. it's just one of those knives that's an easy recommendation for anything and anyone. Great, great knife. Good clip too. And it's reversible. Great micarta. Yeah. Awesome, awesome knife. That is the Kaiser Cozy, designed by Azo. Alrighty then. Next up, this is the biggest knife on our list today. And it's a knife I haven't pulled out in a while. And I'm glad this video inspired me to go and get it. The Bestech Swordfish. So unlike the other two spear points we saw that were a little bit broad, this is a very narrow, very stabby spear point. And while it doesn't exactly do the same thing on the edge and on the spine, I mean, you can see the edge is more bowed and the spine's pretty straight, the point is directly in line with the center line of the pivot, which makes this just an incredible piercer. If you need to poke a hole in something, this is a knife for the job. Fantastic action, great fit and finish. This was my first Bestech knife, and man, oh man, I love Bestech. They do some really awesome stuff. D2 steel, you can get these in all kinds of different colors, and yeah, it's just really cool knife. I hope Bestech makes it for a long, long time. Great flipping action. Oh, so good. Perfect detent, perfectly shaped flipper tab. Yeah, I have a review of this knife from a long, long time ago in the early days of the channel. But maybe I'll put this in a long-term review if I haven't already done that. But yeah, great knife, love it. Definitely one of the pokier knives that's going to be appearing on today's list. So, Bestech Swordfish is our number 3. Moving right along, gotta make sure I've got everything organized here. We're going to be going back to Kaiser. This is a knife that I've tried to sell several times, and it's just stuck around the collection. No one really wants it. So I've been carrying it lately, and actually I've been falling in love with it again. That is the Kaiser Latvind Mini. This is like pretty much exactly what you think of when you think of a spear point. Look at that. Full flat grind, crown spine. Again, the jimping that you get down here and up here. You can get your pokey stuff done. Great action. It's a front flipper. It's a regular-ish flipper. Very lightweight knife. N690 steel. I prefer Kaiser's 154 cm, but not bad. A little bit flimsy feeling. It does take some getting used to, you know, so you don't do stuff like that. But, you know, I've been carrying this for a couple of days just because, and I've been getting used to it. And honestly, I like this knife. It's small, and it's got like the Boba Fett theme with these colors. But yeah, interesting knife. The ergonomics are interesting, but yeah, definitely a classic spear point. Pretty thin behind the edge. Good performing blade, honestly, all the way around. But also a knife I reviewed way back in the early days of the channel. But yeah, that is the Kaiser Mini Latvind. Pretty cool knife. Alrighty. We're going to be going back to Civivi now. I know. What? Gideon showing multiple Civivis in one video? Yeah. So this is a new one to me, and it's a pretty new Civivi. This is the Voltac? Yeah, I think that's Voltaic. I'm not exactly sure what the name of this knife is, but really impressive knife. No review for this yet, but great action. This is the action that I always want when people are like, ooh, Civivi has the best action. This is what I always wanted to feel. Oh. Yeah, that's good. The Fuller you can reverse flick. You can't really thumb flick it. It's just... That's the first time I have thumb flicked this knife. Oh, come on. Don't be a one-shot wonder. Hey! Okay, so there's a sweet spot. The fuller's not particularly sharp, so I was like rolling it open for the thumb, but it seems like there's a sweet spot, like right... Yeah, okay. All right, I figured it out. Okay. Oh, come on, Gideon. Yeah, there we go. All right, okay. Alrighty then. Anyways, about the knife itself, look, it kind of matches my my Elementum. That's cool. Classic-y spear point blade. Good for your pokery stuff. 14C28N. Thank you for not using Nitro V, Civivi. Love it's a steel frame lock with these overlays. I like steel frame locks. I know some people don't, but I do. Great action, good ergos, looks classy as hell, and it's just, yeah, it's a good looking knife, good performing knife. Spear point blade. Pretty snazzy. So that is the Civivi Voltaic, something or another. Alrighty, so now let's start getting into some of the weirder spear points on this list, and let's just go ahead and let's do another Civivi. The Civivi Conspirator. Now, I debated on whether or not to put this knife on the list. Like, maybe it's more of a drop point, but the more I mess with it, I've been making my, I'm not sure if my video on Nitro V is out yet, but been playing with this knife a lot for that. And yeah, no, this is a spear point, 100%. 100%. Let's get out our little ruler here. Set it up at the center line of the pivot, which is easy with Civivis because it's the opening of the C. Line it up there, and look at that. Look at that. Spear point. Yeah, I've got a review of this knife, Civivi Conspirator, button lock. Pretty cool knife. I do like it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite knife or anything, but good ergos. That button lock action's pretty, pretty nice. I say as I fail it. But yeah, just a good work knife. You can see my review on it again. I'm not the biggest button lock fan, but yeah, pretty sweet knife. In a lot of ways, it resembles this knife because all Civivis look like each other these days. But one thing I said in this review was I wish this was maybe a liner lock instead of a button lock. Well, and then Civivi came and gave us the mini Conspirator that's a frame lock. But yeah, this is a full-size knife, good girthy handle, and yeah, Nitro V, micarta. There's a bunch of different versions of this knife. Pretty cool knife. I do like it. Alrighty, moving on. This is a Best Tech Grampus. Now these knives are discontinued, but you can still find them in a lot of places. I love this knife. I love it. Really comfortable in hand. Very, very classy spear point blade. Love the jigged G10. I did do a review of this knife a long time ago. I don't show this knife on the channel enough because it's discontinued. D2 steel. At 50 bucks, that's what they ask for this. It's unbeatable. It is unbeatable. This is such a cool knife. Hard user. I've taken this out in the woods, around the ranch, and it's got a nice slicing profile, but if you look here, like it's fairly robust. You got a pretty good tip there, and so if you're gonna be using your tip for poking into more dense materials, if you're using it with wood, if you're prying with it, I'm not condoning prying, but it happens. Yeah, this is just a great user knife. Good action. Yeah, I like the Best Tech Grampus a whole lot. I like a lot of the older Bestech stuff. But yeah, just a really great knife. This might go in my pocket after this video, because now that I have it, I'm like, I want to use this. So, it's been sitting in my storage case, and now I want to use it. But yeah, great knife. Okay, next up, this is the Tucson Ghost, designed by Jelly Jerry. Spear point blade. It looks a little bit off because I've got like this riser here. But this is a cool knife. 14C28N, titanium frame lock, carbon fiber. This is one of Tucson's, I guess, older knives. It's hard to say that with Tucson because they're always releasing stuff. But I like this knife a lot. This is a knife that I have used a lot. I kept this knife out during one of my moves. This is a knife that I was using during the moving. Again, all the benefits of a spear point. You can slice, you can utility cut, you can stab. It's just a really great all-around user knife. My biggest complaint with it is that the front flipper kind of sucks. Tucson's really hit or miss with front flippers. But front flippers aren't my favorite means to deploy a knife anyways, so I don't really use it that much. Great sharpening choil that I tried to cut myself on just now. And yeah, I love the milling and these handles. Just a really great knife. I love Jelly Jerry's designs. His design language really speaks to me. And yeah, it's a really cool knife. Really cool. Stupid smooth too. This might actually be one of the smoothest knives in my collection. Whew, tried to take my thumb there. But yeah, great knife. Love it. Love it. Okay, we've only got 2 left. Our next one is the CRKT Squid. Yeah, this is a weird spear point because it's so stubby, but a spear point it is nonetheless. Now this knife, the CRKT Squid, it's such an interesting little knife because it packs so much utility into such a small package. And this is probably the best utility cutter we've talked about. You can do some slicing, you can do some poking. Fairly robust, you can do a little bit of your prying. This is a Blade HQ exclusive here, but I mean the Squid is one of those knives that's been around forever. I don't think it's going anywhere. And yeah, Lucas Burnley hit it out of the park with this design. He really knew what he was doing and created a modern classic. I've carried this knife a ton. I mean a ton. And it just keeps going. It's a really great knife. Kind of unusual, but you know what? Unusual does not mean unuseful. I'm not even sure if unuseful is a word, but we used it today. And alrighty, our last knife, probably the weirdest, maybe most controversial spear point on this list. The Vosteed Nightshade. It's like, wait, that's a kukri, Gideon, that's a kukri. And yeah, yes. But most of that is actually from the handle. See, this knife is angled in such a weird way because of not just the blade, but also the handle pushes the blade forward. If this were on a perfectly straight handle, where's my ruler? There it is. If this were on a perfectly straight handle, it's pretty darn symmetrical. It is pretty darn symmetrical. Let's see if I can show that off a little bit better like this. I mean, look at that. That's pretty symmetrical. To me, it's absolutely a spear point. Yes, it's canted forward with this handle and just the way the knife is made, but the blade itself is a spear point. This is one of my favorite knives of the year. I have been using the crap out of this knife. This is just such a... This is one of my favorite user knives, honestly. And I've put it aside. I've got other stuff that I've been reviewing lately, and so I haven't been carrying it as much, but Oh gosh dang it, this is another one where I'm like, yeah, I want to just put this in my pocket right now. Needs a cleaning. Probably a sharpening. Yeah, it just needs a little bit of love. But man, when you like a knife so much that you use it a ton, I don't know, this is such a good knife. I cannot recommend this knife enough. The review hasn't even come out yet, but great knife. I cannot wait to do the review. I haven't even done the review cutting yet. I'm probably going to sharpen it up before I do the review cutting, just because I've used it so much. But yeah, excellent knife. Really can't go wrong with this one. Perfect size, and yeah, just great. And so there we have it. There's a bunch of spear points. Let's bring a couple of them back out here. Throw some of my favorites down. Yeah, that's enough. So, I want to hear from you guys. What are your favorite spear point blades? Are any of them on this list? And yeah, if you like the video, leave it a like, comment below, and subscribe. I've been Gideon. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.